All right, so let's start this class. What we are going to do is we are going to relate the row rank with the column rank, and we are also going to relate what is called the rank nullity theorem, the rank of A and the null space of A. We will look at their dimension and get some results according to that. All right. So let's go one by one. So first thing is row rank should be equal to column rank. So what we saw in the previous class was that if I was set S, a subset of the vector space V over F, number of elements in K, then any subset T of LS of S with number of elements of T greater than K, with number of elements T greater than K, then T is linearly dependent. All right, so we're going to use to prove the following theorem. So theorem, let A be an M cross N matrix with a rank of A is equal to R. Fine, so maybe row space of, means you want to look at either matrices over complex number or real number, that's all. Then what we are saying is that then any collection of R plus 1 rows is linearly dependent, and there exists a collection of R rows of A which is linearly independent. All right. Same thing is true for the columns. Then any collection of R plus 1 columns of A is linearly dependent of A. I should have written here, independent, and there exists a collection of R columns of A which are linearly independent. All right. The proof is simple, so I'd like to just give it. So what you know is that the rank of A is R, implies there exists an invertible matrix P such that PA is equal to RREF of A, which has the form something here and 0 here. Fine. So this is what I would like you to see here, that is something B here, 0 here. And the size of B is, if A is M cross N, the size of B is R cross N, because all the pivots are in the, so RREF, recall, the 0 rows are supposed to be at the bottom and all the pivots are going to be at the top. All right. So I've got this part. So from here, what we are saying is that if you look at this, then we are saying that every, or from here I'll get that A is nothing but P inverse of B0, implies every row of A is a linear combination, or let me write that notation. So every row of A belongs to linear span of, look at the first row of B, the second row of B, and so on till the rth row of B. Just look at that part. This notation is always a problem. I always forget it. Fine. So LS of S is this. So it has got only R vectors. So if I pick any collection which has more than R plus 1, it will become linearly dependent. All right. Right. Similarly, if I want to look at the columns, what I know is that there are R pivotal columns. Those are linearly independent because they correspond to I sub R. The rest of the columns are linearly dependent on the others. All right. And therefore the same thing will hold here also. Fine. So try that out. Important thing here is that I'm able to do it directly, because if I'm multiplying P inverse on the left, it means that I am looking row multiplication. So I'm looking at the rows of the matrix B. That's very, very important, right? So again, the understanding of matrix multiplication is useful in making these statements, fine? So I would like you to see here that thus we have seen here that any collection of R plus 1 rows is linearly dependent, and there is a collection of R rows which is linearly independent. Same for the columns, and therefore we are saying that row rank is same as the column rank, fine? So you can just take it as it is, otherwise you'll have to look at this. So let me write the theorem. There are other ways of also proving it. So theorem, let A be an M cross N matrix with real entries, real or complex, whatever you want to, real or complex entries. And rank of A is equal to R. Then dimension of column space of A is R, which is same as rank of A, and this is also equal to R itself. So this is also equal to dimension of row space of A. All right, this is what we just saw. So column space of A, basically because there are exactly R columns which are linearly independent, and column space is generated by linear combination of the columns. So those are the columns, the pivotal columns, which gives me the linearly independent set of basis of the column space. So let me write it here. The pivotal columns of the pivotal columns, the columns of A, the columns of A corresponding to the pivotal columns in RREF of A is a basis of column space of A. All right. So the columns of A, not of RREF, columns of A corresponding to the pivotal columns, they are there. All right. But when I want to look at the row space, then I can just say that the rows of B, the rows of the non-zero rows of RREF of A is a basis. Fine. So you have to be careful when you're looking at the row space. You have applied row transformation multiplied on the left. Therefore, that gives you the basis. Fine. But when you want to look at columns, you have to go back to your matrix A itself and then pick things from there, not from RREF. That's very important. Now let's look at what we call the rank nullity theorem. Fine. So recall what was the column space and row space. So I'll just take a matrix and just give you things. I'll not do any proof or anything like that. So I've got 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, minus 2, 1, minus 1, 7, minus 2, 1, minus 11. So I have this A. I would like you to verify that RREF of A is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 3, minus 2, 0, minus 5, 3, 0. I may have done some mistake in my calculation, so please verify it. Fine, I do a lot of mistakes. All right, so this is RREF. Then what we are saying is that the column space of A is set of all AX, so that X belongs to R4, and it turns out to be equal to, so it is in R3, so all X, Y, Z, this belonging to R3, so that 4X minus 3Y minus Z is 0. Fine, so this is a subset of R3. Let us look at the null space of A, or the null space of A transpose first. So this is equal to all X belonging to R3, such that A transpose of X is 0. I would like you to see that this is same as XYZ transpose belonging to R3, so that X plus 4Z is 0, as well as y minus 3z is 0. Fine. I would like you to see that yourself. Similarly, if I look at the row space of A, row space of A is A transpose of X, X belonging to R3. So this is a subset of R4, and therefore I have got, let me write it down, X, Y, Z, W belonging to R4, so that 3x minus 2y minus z is 0, 5x minus 3y plus u is 0. So it is a subset of R4. And look at the null space of A, which is all x belonging to R4, so that AX is 0. So I would like you to see that this is nothing but X, Y, Z, W transpose belonging to R4, such that, oh, I wrote it wrongly, is it? X plus 3z minus 5u is equal to 0, y minus 2z plus 3u is equal to 0. So I'd like you to see that these two are nicely formed. There's 2 plus 2 is 4. Here it is, dimension is 2. Here the dimension is 1. It is line, it is a plane. So you get R3 here again. And not only that, look at the direction ratios and cosines and try to see that are they orthogonal. Fine. So try that out yourself and understand it. So let me write the theorem. So before I write the theorem, let me write the definition first. So I already know what is the rank of a matrix. Rank of A is same as dimension of column space of A. Then we have called what is called the nullity of A is nothing but dimension of null space of A. All right. And therefore we have the notion of rank nullity theorem. So let me write that rank nullity theorem. So I have a matrix A which is m cross n. Fine. Then we are saying that rank of A plus nullity of A is n. All right. The number of columns. Columns of A. We are looking at number of columns because we are always looking at AX. Our vectors are always column vectors. All right. That's very important. Fine. So if you are looking at A transpose X, then it will relate with respect to M, not with respect to N. Fine. So depending on what you're looking at, we are looking at A here, column space and things like that. Therefore, we have got this part. Fine. So proof. So what we have is that we know that nullity select. Nullity of A is equal to K. This implies we can find a basis U1, U2, UK, find a basis this of null space of. What does it mean? It basically means that A of UI is 0 for 1 less than equal to I less than equal to K. Fine. Now what we see is that U1, U2, UK this is a subset of what? I'm looking at A times UI. A is m cross n, so UI is an element of Rn itself. Fine. So what we can do is that we can extend it to extend it. This is a linearly independent set. We have already stated that every linearly independent set can be extended to form a basis. So you can extend it. So extend it to get U1, U2, UK, comma, UK plus 1 to UN basis of Rn. Fine. So we've got a basis of Rn now. We do not know what those entries are, but we know something that U1 to UK is linearly independent. And since this is a basis, this is also linearly independent subset of Rn. I know these two. Fine. So we'll build on those ideas. So now we have to show that if I want to look at the rank, so nullity of A was K. I want to prove that rank of this is now going to be N minus K. That's the question that I want to prove now. Fine. That's the question mark. So let us look at rank of A. So rank of A by definition is dimension of column space of A. So let us get a basis of column space of A. So what is column space of A? Column space of A is nothing but linear span of A of U1, A of U2, A of UN. Why it is so? Please prove it yourself. Basically because column space of A is nothing but AX, X belonging to Rn, but I can write every X in terms of the vectors U1 to UN. So it is a linear combination of every X belongs to linear span of U1, U2, UN, and therefore column space is A of U1, A of U2, A of UN. All right. Now what we have is that A of Ui is 0 for 1 less than equal to I less than equal to K. So I'll get it as LS of 0, 0. Then I'll be left out with A of UK plus 1, A of UK plus 2 till A of UN. And therefore this is nothing but LS of A of UK plus 1 till A of UN. All right. Claim the set A of UK plus 1 to A of UN is linearly independent. So you see that this set has n minus k elements, and hence if I can prove that they already span, so column space of A is already spanned by this. If I can show that this is also linearly independent, this will form a basis, and hence n minus k will be the dimension, and therefore those conditions will be valid as such. All right. So we would like to prove it. Let's do that. Fine. So to prove that this is linearly independent, I need to look at a linear system of equations. So let's look at that part, system of equation. So alpha 1 times A of UK plus 1 plus so on plus alpha of n minus k A of UN is equal to 0. I want to look at this system star. Fine. And where the alpha is are, where alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n minus k are linearly independent. Sorry, are the unknowns, are unknowns. I have to solve this system for the unknowns alpha 1 to alpha n minus k. I need to prove that they are indeed 0. The only solution of this system is the trivial solution. All right, the only solution is trivial solution. So I can rewrite a star as a star is equivalent to saying that A times alpha 1 UK plus 1 till so on till alpha n minus k UN is 0. Fine. I have just taken out A on the left separately. Fine. So this implies and is implied by again that alpha 1 UK plus 1 so on till alpha n minus k UN belongs to null space of A. Fine. Now once it belongs to the null space of A, I know already the basis of null space of A. So I can write this vector in terms of the basis vectors. So this implies we can find scalars beta 1, beta 2, beta k such that alpha 1 UK plus 1 plus so on till alpha n minus k UN is beta 1 U1 plus beta 2 U2 plus beta k UK. Fine. I can do that because this vector belongs to the null space of A, and null space of A has a basis consisting of U1, U2, UK. Fine. So this is same thing as saying that I'm looking at the system beta 1 U1 till beta k UK. Fine. All right, plus, let me write plus itself here, minus alpha 1 UK plus 1 plus so on plus minus alpha n minus k UN is 0. Fine. I am looking at a system of equation where I'm looking at the vectors u1, u2, uk till u. I'm looking at this vectors. All right. I know that this set of vectors is linearly independent. All right. So if I look at this double star, the linear independence of this implies that double star has only the trivial solution. All right. Linear independence implies double star has only the trivial solution. So it has only the trivial solution, means beta 1 is 0, beta 2 is 0, beta k is 0. And therefore we have shown that the only solution of, beta k is 0 as well as alpha 1 is 0, alpha 2 is 0 and so on. So we've shown that the only solution of a star is 0, 0, 0. All right. And hence this set is linearly independent. Fine. So just go through it once more yourself. Important thing is that we have written our AIs in terms of the vectors UIs itself. And therefore what I know here is that beta 1 is 0, beta k is 0, minus alpha 1 is 0, implies alpha 1 is 0, minus alpha n minus k is 0 means alpha n minus k is 0 and so on. Fine. So we are looking at that part. As an important application of this, we state this theorem. I'm not going to prove it, but they're very, very important. They relate different ideas. So let's A belong to Mn of R. Mn of R means it is A is a square matrix. A is a square matrix. All right. So I would like you to prove this yourself, that the following statements are equivalent. The following statements are equivalent. The statements are equivalent. I have proved some of them, not all of them. So try that out yourself. 1, rank of A is k. 2, there exists a set of k rows of A that are linearly independent. 3, there exists a set of k columns of A that are linearly independent. 4th, dimension of column space of A is k. Dimension of row space of A is k. 5, there exists a k cross k submatrix B of A with determinant of B not equal to 0. Further, every k plus 1 cross k plus 1 submatrix of A has determinant 0. So you can see that linearly independent is getting related with the determinant. All right. So there we had seen that every k plus 1 row is linearly dependent. Every k plus 1 columns are linearly dependent, and therefore what we'll have is that the determinant, corresponding determinant, will become 0. All right. Fine. 6. There exists a linearly independent subset B1, B2, Bk of Rm such that the system Ax is equal to B1, Ax is equal to B2, Ax is equal to Bk, for Bk is consistent. All right. So the solutions can be different. We are not saying that it is the same x. Important. Fine. So here I've got some x. So some solution x0 here, another solution x1 here, or say maybe x1 here, x2 here, xk here. All right. So these are all consistent. That's all we are saying. It is not the same x which is going to solve for all of them. We'll have different ones. Fine. That's important. But they are k of them are consistent because the rank is k. Fine. Dimension of null space of A is n minus k, fine, and 8 dimension of null space of A transpose is also n minus k, fine. So you can prove it yourself. Some of this can be removed if I am not having, you can also put determinant of something and things like that. No, I put all of them. And you can, I would like you to generalize it for a matrix of size m cross n, fine. Because I have not put determinant of A here anywhere. So you can relate this also with m cross n matrix. All right, so you can also look at m cross n matrices as well. Fine. So try that out yourself. I will not do that, but the ideas are same. So that's all in this lecture. Thank you. Oh, there is a small mistake. I just remembered it now because here I'm writing a square matrix. Since I wrote a square matrix, this is a square matrix. A is n cross n. So this B has to be n here itself. All right. So that was a mistake. There exists a subset this of Rn. It should be. I was writing it for. So earlier I was writing for A was m cross n, and therefore Rm had come. But since my notes here is about n, so it has to be n. All right. That is a small mistake. If there is any other mistake, please take care of that. All right. Thank you.